Good morning. Welcome to the live speaking session from 𝐂𝐚𝐲𝐬𝐬𝐢𝐴𝐻 Academy. I'm Twinkle. I hope you all had a good weekend. I hope you all are well rested to face the week ahead. So today I'm going to tell you all about speaking test in Ielts. This is it's not a difficult thing, but most people are scared of speaking test. This is because you're not used to speaking in English. So let me break down the speaking test for you, and then I'll give you some tips on how to improve your speaking. Okay, so the speaking test, for speaking test, a candidate is allotted 20 minutes, out of which 11 to 14 minutes is your actual test. That's it, not more than that. So this is a very simple thing. All you have to do is convey your ideas properly in English to the examiner so that the examiner gives you a good score. Let's see what it is all about. So like I said, you are given 20 minutes on the test day, but the actual speaking test takes place only for about 11 to 14 minutes. So it's over in under 15 minutes. Now the next thing is that it is divided into 3 parts. Okay, the first part goes on for about 4 to 5 minutes. The second part for again 4 to 5 minutes, and the rest for the third part. Sometimes it depends also on the examiners. Sometimes the examiners may ask extra questions to see if you are really good. So it actually depends on the examiner. Then the entire test will be recorded. Okay, so you have to make sure that you speak clearly so that your voice is clear in the recording. Now let's see what the first part is all about. So in the first part, the examiner will ask you to give your passport, so to check your identity. Then they will ask you to give your full name. So there are many people who, when asked for a name, they say myself Twinkle, which is actually a wrong way to introduce yourself. You have to either say I am or my name is. This is because myself means njan thanne. In Malayalam it means njan thanne. That means it's an emphatic pronoun or a reflexive pronoun. Okay, it should not be used to introduce yourself. So you have to either say my name is or I am, and also expand your initials. Okay, so that's the first part. Then the second thing is they will go on to ask you questions like where you are from, what you do, and things like that. Okay, these are all your personal answers. So do not be alarmed. There is no strict way to say the answer, or there is no strict rule as to this should be said or that should be said. There's nothing like that. Okay, it's all your personal answer. Okay, because they'll be asking you questions regarding your work, your hometown, your house, and many other different topics. So there are hundreds of topics from which they can choose, and so you have to be prepared. This is the first part. They'll ask you questions like what are your hobbies, whether you have learned something, some instrument, or do you like music. So it can be general. All right. The second part. In the second part, you are given a cue card, a card in which there will be a question, a topic, and some sub-questions. It's like an outline. You know, in schools we used to get this outline to expand it into a story. So that is what it is. Okay. So you have a cue card given to you, and a pen or a pencil and a paper will be provided to you. Okay. And the examiner will give you 1 minute to prepare your answer so that you can speak for the next 2 minutes. I hope that is clear. Then after you speak for 2 minutes, nearly 2 minutes, the examiner will stop the timer, and then you move on to the third part. And the third part will be questions based on the second part. Let me give you an example. If you are asked to describe a journey by public transportation that you enjoyed, if that is your question in the second part, then the third part which follows, the follow-up questions will be something regarded to travel or public transportation or transportation in general. That's how it goes. Okay. So the entire process takes up to less than 15 minutes. Next, the do's and don'ts. Okay. Like I said, when you introduce yourself, don't use myself, say I am or my name is. The second thing is expand your initials. So if the name is Ashwati MV, that MV does not make any sense to the examiner. You have to expand and say what the name is. Now, there are people who ask whether you should change the pronunciation. Okay. I mean, not the pronunciation, the accent. There is absolutely no need to change your accent. Just make sure that your pronunciation is right. Because we Malayalis, we have a tendency to, say O like O. For example, for gold, we say gold. That's a wrong pronunciation. You have to say gold. So things like that. Also, another thing which I usually hear is wear. WEAR, wear. I like to wear clothes that are comfortable. It's not wear, it is wear. WEAR is wear. So you have to say, I like to wear clothes which are comfortable. Alright? I hope that's clear. And coming to accent, there is absolutely no need to change your accent. You just need to speak in a proper accent. That's it. Don't fake your accent. Absolutely not required. Another question which people ask is about the pace at which you speak. They ask me whether they can speak slowly. No, that's not allowed. You have to speak in a normal pace, at a normal pace. All right. So it's like having a conversation with a friend. Not a semi-formal conversation, you can say. You have to use idioms, you can use abbreviations. There is no need to say I am instead of I am. So you can say I am. And you can use idioms like it's not my cup of tea, and so on. Okay. Then, when you speak, it's natural, it's organic for people to make mistakes. It happens. You may get tongue-tied. It happens to me also sometimes when I'm tense. So it happens to everyone, and especially when you're sitting for a test, it will happen. You just have to be confident. You don't have to get scared and stop there. You have to be confident, get on with it. Okay. Don't think of what I'm going to say next. Think of ideas. Right? Then, another thing is that when you speak about your cue card, the description, most people wonder what I should be saying, or whether I can say this, whether I can say that. It's like telling a story. You just have to make up a story. It does not matter whether it has happened to you or not. You have to imagine a story in your mind which will help you create ideas, and it will automatically come to your mouth as words. This is what you should be doing in the second part. And the third part, make sure that you understand the question well. These are, in the third part, it's mostly general questions. So don't talk about yourself, what you think. It's your opinion generally that you have to say. Okay, these are the main things that you have to understand when doing a speaking test. All right. So now, how to form answers. See, I told you these are all your personal answers. It depends on your situation, your experience, and your thoughts, your what do you say, your situations, and so on. Okay. So there is nothing like it is a wrong answer. When a question is asked, you don't have to think whether I'll be saying a wrong answer. There is nothing like that. But there are ways in which you have to make your answer better. That's all that you have to think about. Okay, so let's get on with some questions. First part questions. I'm not going to deal with the second part and the third part today. That we'll be doing on some other day. Let's just get on with some questions so that you understand what I'm saying. Okay, so like I said, they'll be asking you your name, then where you are from or what you do. Where you are from, you have to, if you are writing your exam in Kerala, there is no need to say I am from Kerala. You have to say your specific place. Okay, and you can add details about that place, whether it is a village, it's a city, or whether there is a lot of greenery, there are facilities available. All these you can add. That is for your from where you are. Another thing, when I ask from where you are or from where are you from, if that is a question, sometimes the students tend to answer I am coming from, which is a wrong way to say that. Okay, you have to say I come from. I am coming from means that you are on the move or you just came from somewhere. It does not mean that you belong to a place. If you want to say that I belong to a place, then you have to say I come from. Or even the sentence which I used, I belong to such and such place. I belong to Cochin, or I'm from Cochin. I come from Cochin. All these things you can say, but don't say I am coming from. Then about your next thing is about your profession or what you do. You may be students or you may be working. Please don't say I'm preparing for my Ielts exam, because I've had students who say this to me, I'm preparing for my Ielts exam, which is illogical when you think about it, because you are sitting and speaking in an Ielts exam. Okay, so do not ever say that. Don't mention Ielts exam there. You can say that if you are a student who has just completed your studies, you can say what course you have completed. You can say I'm a graduate in such and such, and I'm planning to go abroad for my higher studies. So that is one way you can put it across. Or if you are a professional or working person, then you can say that I am working and I'm doing such and such. There are people who say, let's say a nurse. Well, I'm a nurse at such and such hospital and I have so many years of experience. Or you can just add, I'm looking to go abroad for better prospects. So these are all the things that you can add, but never say I am preparing for my Ielts exam. Okay, while in an Ielts exam. So then it may be about your accommodation. If you are asked about accommodation, then you have to say about your house, not the family that lives in it. Okay, don't say, when asked about your accommodation or your house, don't talk about the people living there. Talk about the structure. Like my house is a 2-story building, or and it has got a big hall, 3 bedrooms, one kitchen and a front yard and a kitchen garden at the back. You can add all those things, but don't talk about I live in a house with my parents, my father is this, my mother is this. Don't say that. These are the things that you have to remember when talking about accommodation. Or if it is an apartment, you say I live in an apartment, it's got 3 bedrooms. Okay. Then there are people who stay away from home. So if you are someone who stays away from home, then you can say that I live in this place for my work. If you want to talk about accommodation, I stay at dash, dash, dash. I stay in an apartment, and I stay in an apartment with 2 bedrooms. I share it with my colleagues. That's it. So this is the way that you have to answer. Then there are certain questions where you are asked how you do things, how often. This is a common question. This word often, it means how frequently, how regularly you do something. And many people get confused with this question, with this word. Often means how regularly or how frequently you do things. It means it can be daily, it can be once in a week, it can be once in a year. It doesn't matter. How often should have some kind of answer which is related to the number of times that you do something. Your habits, your hobbies. When asked about hobbies, certain people think that it is required to answer it in a positive, that is to say that there is a hobby. No, it's not required. I hope that you understood that. That is, if you are asked what are your hobbies, and if you don't have a hobby, there is no need to say that I like reading this is or I like listening to music. There is no need to say all that. All you have to do is say that at the moment I'm not interested in any kind of hobbies, as I'm working and I don't find time for hobbies. You can say that, as simple as that. Which brings me to another point. If you don't know something, don't just say I don't know. That's not a nice way to put it across. So what you should do is, you can say I never thought about it. I have never thought about it. So I've never thought about it till now. I guess it is this, or I guess it is that. So instead of saying I don't know, you can say I've never thought about it, and you can continue with your answer. Okay, so that's how you have to say I don't know, or in better words, don't just say I don't know. Then another question which students mostly ask me is whether you can ask to repeat a question if you have not heard or not understood. Yes, you can. That is a part of communication. So you have to ask the examiner. Imagine you are having a conversation with your friend, and you have your friend asks you some question and you didn't hear it. Will you think that if I ask her again, or ask her to repeat the question, she would feel bad? No, you would not think. What would you do? You would ask your friend to repeat the question. This is what you would ask. It's the same way here, but in a formal way. Okay, you can ask to repeat the question. You have to say not just pardon. There is a way to ask that. Don't just say pardon. Say I'm sorry, I didn't catch the question. Could you please repeat it? Or I didn't understand the question. Can you explain it? These are the ways in which you can ask the examiner to repeat the question. Okay. You can do that, but not for every question. If you go on asking to repeat the question, it defeats the purpose of the speaking test. It means that you have not understood the question. So you should not do that. Okay. Once in a while, if you have not heard a question, if you have not understood something, then you can ask to repeat the question. That's not an issue at all. That won't affect your score, speaking score. It's actually a part of communication. If you have not heard something, instead of assuming that the other person has said such and such thing and trying to answer it, stop, ask the person to repeat the question, and not crudely say pardon. That's not the way to say it. You have to say, I'm sorry, I didn't get that question. Could you please repeat it? Or I didn't understand it. Could you please repeat it? Whatever doubts you have, you can ask. That is a part of communication. Remember that speaking test is not like history question answer. There are no set answers. When you study in school, you would think that, okay, I have to have this much as answer. This is my answer. If a particular question is asked, then there is a particular answer to that question. In this case, it's subjective. Okay, it depends, like I said, on each person, situation, profession. There are so many factors affecting your answer, your thoughts, your opinions, your imagination. There are so many factors affecting your answer. So you have to answer according to that, and there is absolutely no need to say yes to everything. So if you don't read, there are questions like, do you like reading? There is no issue in saying no, I'm not interested in reading, I find it boring. There is absolutely no problem in saying that, because many people have the feeling that if you are asked something, you have to respond in the positive. Okay, that's not required. It's your personal answer. It does not bring down your score. Okay, so these are the main things which you have to remember when doing a speaking. Also, speak confidently, have a pleasant face, not just not smile too wide, but have a pleasant face, and speak as if you are speaking to a stranger you have met in the train or the bus. So how would you speak? You would be speaking formally, but confidently about yourself. So that's the way you should think about it. Okay, so don't think of it as a question answer session or an interview session. It's not an interview where you are expected to answer certain things in a certain way, but it's all about conveying your ideas in proper English. That's what speaking test is. Now let's check out some questions, some 4 or 5 questions, so that you understand how to go about it. Okay, so the questions will be shown on the screen. So the question is about internet. That's what I have prepared. Okay. These are some of the questions about internet. These are not set questions. The examiner can have different set of questions also, but let's see how to answer them. So, how important is the internet to you? Okay, so internet is something which is there everywhere. It's a part of our lives now. So think of an answer like that. I've written down an answer, but this is not for you to by heart. Okay, you don't need to memorize these answers. These are answers from which you can take pointers, but not memorize. It has to be your own answer. How important is the internet to you? So what I wrote down was that, well, I should say that I cannot imagine a life without internet, as it is ubiquitous. It is everywhere. Ubiquitous means it is something which is everywhere. Okay, so internet is what helps me to stay connected with my friends and family, and it is also what helps me to get information regarding any topics, or I use it to pay bills and shop online, and I also depend on it for entertainment. I watch movies and videos on YouTube. So when asked about internet and how important is it to you, if you are a person who's constantly using internet for some work or entertainment, you can say that. Okay, right. So that was my answer. Now, if it is not that important, you can say that as well. You can say, well, I use it occasionally to pay my bills and maybe shop online once in a while. And I also use it to access my social media platforms. That's it. So it is important, but it's not that important. That can be your answer. So that is, those are 2 ways of putting it across. Next one. Do you use the internet more for work or in your free time? Do you use the internet more for work or in your free time? Well, for me, I use it mostly during my free time to watch videos or movies, and also to chat with my friends, or watch some reels on Instagram. This is what I use the internet for. I also use it for work purpose. When I teach online, I have to have the internet. So when talking about internet, remember that it is connected to devices, that is laptop, smartphone, so we can say that as well. Okay, internet is what makes it possible for me to access online information, or makes it possible for me to take online classes, or access my social media platforms on my smartphone. So all that you can add. Okay, so if you are someone who uses the internet in your free time, you can say that. Or if you're someone who depends on your work for, on the internet for your work, you can say that as well. I have to depend on the internet for information regarding my work, and I also use it for various purposes such as paying bills, shopping, research, and entertainment. Okay, so let's move on to the next question. What are some of the positive and negative things about the internet? It can be a personal answer. It has certainly made life easier for everyone. Internet is what helps us to stay connected, send messages using audio or video, or we can communicate with friends anywhere in the world where there is a connectivity. At the same time, think about it. There are some negative aspects as well, because we forget to appreciate the life around us. We are always gazing on the mobile phone, or the screens. We always want stimulation from internet. We rarely stop now to think about things. So that for me is a negative aspect. Some people may not find it as a negative aspect at all. For me, we have forgotten to appreciate life, which moves at a definite pace around us. That is something which is negative. Okay, sometimes we have to take a break from all this connection. We have to keep it aside, keep our smartphones and tablets and laptops aside, and talk to people around us, or appreciate the beauty of everything around us, of the environment, the life around us. So these are some of the negative aspects, but this is not the way to put it across. When asked this question, what are some of the positive and negative things about the internet? So my answer would be, well, internet has certainly made it easier for everyone to lead an easy life. Okay, we are able to send messages and communicate with our friends and relatives anywhere in the world at any time, whether it is day or night. And at the same time, we are in constant need of stimulation. We forget to appreciate people who live around us as we search for friendships across the globe. And always search, we are always gazing on the phones, addicted to it. We will be watching videos, or searching, playing games, and so on. So these are the negative aspects. We forget to have real life conversations. These are the negative aspects of internet. So that was my answer for what are some of the positive and negative things about the internet. Well, the next question is, do you think you use the internet too much? In my case, I think I use it too much. So I would say that I believe so, yes. Even though I know the negative effects of internet, I do use the internet a lot. Sometimes I try to take a break from it by leaving my phone in another room, so that I'm not tempted to check my WhatsApp or Instagram or mails. But the pull to have my smartphone back in my hands is too much, and I go and get it and end up checking it. So this is what my answer would be. For another person, it would be, no, I don't use it too much, I use it only for entertainment. It can be your own answer. Okay. Then there are questions like, what are your favorite websites? So YouTube is a website, a video sharing platform. So you can say YouTube, that's not an issue. There are people who say Wikipedia, or if you have any particular websites according to your interest, you can say that. So what are your favorite websites apart from YouTube? Brightside, there's a website called Brightside which has quite a lot of interesting stuff going on it. So this is what I've written. Apart from YouTube, Brightside is a website which I visit often. It's a website with a lot of fun blogs, inspiring stories, life hacks, and so on. Okay, so these are my favorite websites. So when I ask for favorites, you don't have to say everything. All the websites that you access, you don't have to mention that. Which are your favorite websites? That is what you have to say. So for me, YouTube is one of the websites which I like a lot, and then Brightside is another. So these are the ones which I have mentioned here. So I know these are just 5 questions. There are hundreds and hundreds of topics from which people and examiners can ask questions, and they can also ask questions in a variety of ways, not just these questions. So you have to be prepared for it. Now, how to go about preparing for speaking? The best way to prepare is to speak. Okay. It's not enough that have answers in your mind, because having it in your mind and speaking it out using your mouth are two different things. It's not possible, it may not be possible for people to speak out the things that they imagine. Okay, because we are used to speaking in our mother tongue. Our mouths are conditioned to speak in our mother tongue. So what happens is that when we try to speak a different language, our mouths get tightened, and there is no fluency when we try to speak. So to overcome that, we have to condition our mouth, or we have to keep on practicing by speaking aloud, not just in your mind. So the thing that you can use is to speak, to find people around you to whom you can speak to. Okay, if there is no one around you who can speak fluently in English to you, you speak. There is no need for you to wait for a response from the other person. You speak. You try to convey your ideas in English. That is one thing that you can do. Another thing, an effective method which I have found is for you to speak in front of a mirror. Okay, stand in front of a mirror, then ask yourself questions. Have some questions in your hand. Ask yourself one question, and look at yourself in the mirror and speak out the answer. Okay. At the same time, you have to record what you are saying. So this playing back this recording will help you to recognize what all mistakes you are making, and whether you are speaking in a proper tone, or whether you are having long pauses in between. So these all things you can know by replaying the recording, and then you can try to improve on the answer. So doing this every day will definitely help you with your speaking. Okay, and you have lots of questions or materials available online. There are booklets circulated online. There are questions. If you just type in on Google IELTS speaking part 1 questions or part 2 questions, or part 1, 2, 3 questions, you will get it. You have enough and more topics to practice on. Sometimes answers are also provided there. You can maybe read the answer aloud and then repeat it, not memorize it. Just try to say those answers in your own words. These things will help you to speak fluently, and fluency is one thing that they check for in your IELTS speaking exam. If there is no fluency, if you keep on stopping or pausing in between, then your score will come down. It's natural for any person to when I say this, any person to pause in between to think of an idea. But if it is too many times, if it happens too many times, then it definitely means that you are not fluent enough in English, and it will bring down your score. So practice enough and you will definitely get a good score in speaking. Remember, speaking test do's and don'ts. Just be confident. Even if there are grammar mistakes, you will get a good score if you speak confidently. uh, Speaking confidently does not mean that you just string along words. Okay, that it does not mean that, because I've seen people do that also. There are many students who think that stringing along a lot of new words will get you a good score. No, it does not happen that way. uh, Vocabulary, it makes me think about vocabulary. Okay, because I've seen YouTube videos where people say that use these 5 words and you will get a high score. No, it does not happen that way in speaking. You have to use the words in the proper context, in the proper meaning, to get a good score. It has to be used organically. It should not be something which comes, as an add-on, as an afterthought. So this is what you have to remember. If you use 5 new words in your speaking, it will not guarantee a good score. It has to be used properly in the proper context, and it has to come naturally. Okay. Oh, one important thing which I forgot to mention is that you have to answer in sentences. Okay, don't just say yes, no, not really. Those are not answers. You have to convey your ideas in proper sentences, in long sentences, and not just simple sentences. You have to use a variety of grammar structures. Okay. So these are the important things that you have to remember about speaking. Let me recap once more. Your speaking test is for a candidate is allowed 20 minutes, and your speaking test will happen for 11 to 14 minutes. There are 3 parts. The first part goes on for about 5 minutes, second part 4 or 5 minutes, and the rest for the third part. Then in the first part, these are all personal questions which are asked in the first part. So there is no chance that you will have a wrong answer. There can be illogical answers, but no wrong answers. You have to listen to the question properly and answer accordingly. Say for example, if you are asked how often do you buy shoes online, if your answer starts yes, then that is obviously wrong, because the question is how often do you buy something online, buy shoes online. Then you have to say that I don't buy it often, because I feel uncomfortable when I buy shoes online. I need to go to a store. I have the need to go to a store and try it on to decide whether I am comfortable wearing that shoes. So I don't prefer buying shoes online, and I've done it only once. So that can be your answer. Or if you're a person who regularly buys shoes online, then you can say that I regularly buy shoes online. I keep checking. I like shoes. I keep checking for offers, and if there is a good shoes available at a good price, then I definitely buy it. So these are things which you can say. Okay. So speak in 2-3 sentences fluently. Do not try to add new words if you are not comfortable with it. Then in the second part, you have to speak for 2 minutes. You are given 1 minute for preparation, and you have to speak for 2 minutes, nearly 2 minutes. Okay. And make sure that you are covering all the sub questions given and under the topic. Then imagine the situation and add details, but don't add too many details that you are not able to answer everything in the sub questions. Answer all the sub questions. So these are the things which you have to remember. Okay. And in the third part, listen to the question. Always, first part or third part, whatever it is, listen to the question. Listen to the tense of the question. If they ask you, do you, that means it is present tense. Did you, it means past tense. Will you, future tense. So answer accordingly. Okay. Now I want to talk to you about certain mistakes or the certain words which people say which are incorrect. Children's. This is one thing which I come across regularly. Children's is a wrong word. To say many കുറെ കുട്ടികൾ എന്ന് പറയാനാണെങ്കിൽ children is the word. That is the plural for ചൈൽഡ്. ചൈൽഡാണ് ഒരു കുട്ടി എന്ന് പറയാനാണ് ഉദ്ദേശിക്കുന്നതെങ്കിൽ ചൈൽഡ്. ചിൽഡ്രൻസ് എന്നൊരു വേർഡില്ല, ചിൽഡ്രൻ, ഇറ്റ് ഷുഡ് ബി ചിൽഡ്രൻ. ദെൻ another one is peoples. പീപ്പിൾസ് എന്ന് പറയരുത്, പീപ്പിൾ. പീപ്പിൾ എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞാൽ തന്നെ ഇറ്റ് ഇസ് പ്ലൂറൽ, ആൾക്കാർ എന്നാണ് ഉദ്ദേശിക്കുന്നത്, മനുഷ്യർ അല്ലെങ്കിൽ ആൾക്കാർ എന്നാണ് പീപ്പിൾ എന്നുള്ള വേർഡിൻ്റെ അർത്ഥം. സോ ഡോണ്ട് സേ പീപ്പിൾസ്, ഇറ്റ് ഇസ് പീപ്പിൾ. Then there are certain other words like musics, muses. ഇങ്ങനെയൊന്നും വേർഡ്സ് ഇല്ല. ഇറ്റ്സ് മ്യൂസിക്, ന്യൂസ്, പിന്നെ ഇൻഫർമേഷൻസ്, ഇൻഫർമേഷൻ, ഇൻഫർമേഷൻസ് എന്നില്ല, ഇൻഫർമേഷൻ. ഫേർണിച്ചേഴ്സ്, ഫേർണിച്ചേഴ്സ് എന്ന വേർഡില്ല, ഫേർണിച്ചർ, ഇറ്റ് ഷുഡ് ബി ഫേർണിച്ചർ. ദെൻ മീഡിയാസ്, സോഷ്യൽ മീഡിയാസ്. മീഡിയ എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞാൽ തന്നെ ഇറ്റ് ഈസ് മീഡിയ എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞാൽ തന്നെ ഇറ്റ് ഈസ് പ്ലൂറൽ. ഓക്കെ, സോ മീഡിയാസ് ഇല്ല, മീഡിയ, സോഷ്യൽ മീഡിയ. സോഷ്യൽ മീഡിയ പ്ലാറ്റ്ഫോംസ്. പ്ലാറ്റ്ഫോം എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞാൽ ഒന്നാണ്, പ്ലാറ്റ്ഫോംസ് എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞാൽ കുറേ. സോ സോഷ്യൽ മീഡിയ പ്ലാറ്റ്ഫോംസ് എന്ന് പറയാം, അല്ലെങ്കിൽ സോഷ്യൽ മീഡിയ എന്ന് പറയാം. ന്യൂസസ് എന്ന് ഉപയോഗിക്കരുത്, ന്യൂസ്. ഐ ഹവ് ഹേർഡ് ദ ന്യൂസ്. മ്യൂസിക്സ്, ഐ ലൈക്ക് ഡിഫറെൻറ്റ് ടൈപ്സ് ഓഫ് മ്യൂസിക്സ് എന്ന് ആൾക്കാർ പറയും. ദാറ്റ് ഈസ് ഇൻകറക്റ്റ്. യു ഹാവ് ടു സേ മ്യൂസിക്. ചിൽഡ്രൻസ് ഇല്ല. പിന്നെ another phrase which I come across, which is regularly used in the wrong context, is used to. I used to. Okay. Do you often buy shoes online? I used to buy shoes online. That is used to buy എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞു കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ it is something which happened in the past, which you are not doing now. That is what it means. Okay. Used to means something which happened in the past and which is not happening now. So if you are talking about something regular in your life which is happening in the present also, please don't use the phrase used to. I used to dance when I was a kid, but now I have lost that ability. That means ഞാൻ പണ്ട് ഡാൻസ് കളിക്കുമായിരുന്നു, ഇപ്പം എനിക്ക് അതിനുള്ള കഴിവില്ല. This is what it means. I used to smoke a lot when I earlier, but now I don't. I've quit, but now I've quit smoking. So ഞാൻ മുമ്പ് സ്മോക്ക് ചെയ്യുമായിരുന്നു, ഇപ്പം ഞാൻ സ്മോക്കിങ് ക്വിറ്റ് ചെയ്തു. യൂസ്ഡ് ടു എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞാൽ അതിൻ്റെ അർത്ഥം മുമ്പ് ചെയ്യുമായിരുന്ന ഒരു കാര്യം ഇപ്പം ചെയ്യുന്നില്ല. സോ ഇഫ് യു ആർ ആസ്ഡ് ഡു യു ലിസൺ ടു മ്യൂസിക്, ഐ യൂസ് ടു എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞു കഴിഞ്ഞിട്ടുണ്ടെങ്കിൽ ദാറ്റ് ഡസ് നോട്ട് മീൻ ഇപ്പോൾ പ്രസൻറ്റിൽ നടക്കുന്നതെന്ന്. യു ഹാവ് ടു സേ ഐ ലിസൺ ടു. Do you listen to music? Of course. I listen to a variety of music. I like classical music, I like melodies, and I also like fast numbers. This can be your answer. Okay, so I hope you got an idea about speaking test. It's actually simple if you practice enough for it. But you have to make sure that you practice a lot. All right, so that brings us to the end of our speaking live session. I hope you have understood what speaking session is, and have a great week ahead. Practice a lot. Right. Bye. Thank you.